That's probably one of the most surprising parts, because people often say when I have enough money, you know what they found? You make less kids with each income bracket and tax bracket you get to until you get to about 300K, and all of a sudden the kids double. And supposedly, the theory is, at that point, kids become an accessory, like a purse, so you just get one. You pay a name to picture.
Got a dog and a kid.
But that fast, I thought niggas at 150K be popping out babies. No! How much more do you need? 150K extra.
At Japan's House of Councils election last month, the right-wing ultra-nationalist Sansito Party, which was founded in 2020 and ran on the MAGA-style anti-immigration Japanese First campaign, ended up winning 12.6% of the national vote, the third highest share, outperforming Republicans. For context, the party focuses heavily on immigration. They want to make it harder for foreigners to buy land in Japan, deny foreigners voting rights, and reduce the influx of foreign workers. On top of that, Sansito also has traditionalist views on gender. The party opposes same-sex marriage and women being able to keep their maiden name, and argues that Japan's imperial succession should be limited to the maiden line. The party's leader has also said that young women are too focused on having a career, and instead should stay at home to raise children.
So that's the situation over there. A lot of stuff. Leave the link in the description if you want to watch this video. But I think that oftentimes, especially when we look at our own country situation, our own governments, we're very hypercritical, which I understand. It's always good to be critical. And then we sometimes admire other models in the world and say, this is the one that works, not recognizing we just oftentimes don't know the nuances of the ones that they're dealing with. And sometimes you think you've tried with them, but you don't know if you would. The reality over there is drastically different than what you might expect, and there's levels of uncertainty going forward are also very large. So, what is the solution? I don't know. That's why people get paid to think things. But I did think it was interesting learning about this, because it made me grateful for some of the problems that we have over here. Yes, they're not great.
Grateful for some of the problems?
Yeah, because I wouldn't trade our problems for theirs. Because if you think about the tax burden that's going to be, the way that's going to weigh down the economy, having to pay out those social benefits to all of us, we have it here, but not to the same degree. Again, if our old people die, they know how to just fucking leave.
Yeah. They don't just overstay their
Yeah, it's like, hey, we waiting for the inheritance, Grandpa.
Let me go to the gym.
Hey, owners, you fucked us over once with the housing. Let's go. Just some things. It's funny to hear the right, the conservative party being like Japan first and all this other stuff, and like the women are still like, like what y'all gonna do? You know, a lot of these immigrants, at some point, you gotta just get accept things gotta change. You know what I mean? I mean, I don't want them. No, that's the immigration paradox. People hate immigrants and how they change societies, but they don't have kids themselves. They say they don't have kids because of money, but statistics show even when they get money, they have 1.5 kids, which means like the average couple goes from anywhere from 3 to 1. If 2 people only have 2 kids, that's not what the numbers even say. But 2 people have 2 kids is not enough. Because you 2 old people die, and there's only 2 kids left behind, and God forbid some of these kids are also gonna die. So it's just like...
That's why the point I think that right now is, if 2 couples have one, like if they don't even go to one a whole kid, don't 2 kids. Like for some years we were under 1. Yeah. That each couple we're getting, so we're not even at 1. Each of them don't even have a full ass kid. No. So yeah, we're doing well. We feel it right now.
But you just there's too many people on the planet anyway. But the problem now is going to be too little.
Yes.
And old niggas don't talk. Just like
Take about 10 minutes for me to get my first response.
Older lady? Yeah, I heard it.
JACKDAMJIEN.
He's just everywhere in the time.
The guy was like, yeah.
Yeah, they just like remove their gum and get 2 gums.
Oh, gummy worm?
Gotcha, no
They call it a gummy.
Yeah.
You're trying to get a gummy from Agnes. You're like, Agnes giving you a gummy? You should be putting in that work.
Her name is Agnes.
That's a nasty name. Both figuratively and literal.
That's not nasty.
That's nasty.
That's not nasty.
If you name your daughter Agnes, you don't like that much. So this thing happened in Japan that I thought was fascinating. So Japan has toll systems because obviously driving is too burdensome. So they really invest in public transport. People take subway, trains everywhere. It's very, very efficient. And so for people who do want to drive, they have toll systems to basically de-incentivize them. They pay a certain amount based off how far they are and how many tolls they go through. So Japan's toll system ended up crashing. 38-hour glitch led to like thousands of people being told to just run through the toll booths. Why? Because they couldn't charge them and they didn't want to shut down traffic. So they're just like, just go. And for 38 hours, people were just running, and they make a lot of money from those toll booths. Thousands of Japanese drivers voluntarily paid the highway toll fees even after the system went down, and no one was required to. When Japan's electronic tolls collection system suffered a massive outage earlier this year, what followed caught the attention of the global public and online communities alike. This real-life incident revealed much about Japan's societal values, high trust culture, and government response in terms of system failure. Over 24,000 Japanese drivers voluntarily paid toll fees after the country's ETC system crashed.
Oh yeah, that's the.
They voluntarily went out. Like, nobody was going to track them. No one's going to find out. But they still chose to pay.
Yeah, that's Japan for you.
And
They have stores that have no clerks.
Stuck making travel plans? Try Roam2Rio.com. Roam2Rio is your one-stop travel planning website.
yeah, and people don't rob the whole thing. Crazy, right?
I think that in the culture of Japan, that's what happens. But also, I feel like when you step to Japan, you can feel, and I feel like people feel like they know where their money is going when they give it to the government. So I think there is a trust that is higher with the government. Because like if I pay my toll, I know what they're gonna do with that money. I've seen what they've been doing with that money, so I know what I'm contributing to. Whereas here, if you do the same experiment here, I don't think that people would have paid.
Yeah.
It wouldn't happen. But we don't have the same trust in the government what you're going to do with the money anyways.
Here, honestly, this should happen 0%.
No. That's what I'm saying.
We see all of these things as barriers and impediments and annoyances that don't actually serve anything other than the government itself.
We don't see really the result either.
Yeah.
We see that it's really not well spent. So people will be like, whatever. Money and you doing nothing with it.
Like just seeing people, okay, this is something I already do because my family, the way we're raised, we do this. But when I go to restaurants or fast food joints, you finish the food, everyone goes and loads their tray and cleans up after themselves. Nobody leaves it there. Here, it's completely the opposite. When I went to a movie theater in Japan, I went to this nice movie theater, we left, everyone grabs their popcorn, they clean up after themselves, they go up, there's two people waiting, you hand them everything, they throw it in the trash. I watched so many videos of people in North America where after a movie premiere is done, they gotta scoop out fucking bags of popcorn and all the fucking gunk and shit that people just leave everywhere.
And then just resell that as profits.
There you go. So I say all this thing. There's a lot of little things like that in terms of social cohesion that are only possible probably because of like the way their values and also because of the fact that they're all from the same background. That probably helps out to a degree. I go to the subway, it's rush hour, literally nobody talks. It is quiet. It is like freaks out. I'm already somebody in public. Doesn't just like rip out their vocal cords or something. I took a video at one point. I was like, you get on the train and then you hear somebody talking, it's just a foreigner. He's like, shut the fuck up. You're making us look stupid. Shut your mouth. Because for them, you should inconvenience other people on these spaces. I didn't hear Japanese until it was evening time, and then niggas was drunk. Now they laugh. But during the day, they shut the fuck up.
Yes, that's good.
Yeah.
Freaks come out at night.
In a lot of ways, Japan is still a very socially isolated country where people just mind their business and stay to themselves. Like when you're on there, everybody got their phone out, they all staring at their shit, they mind their business. So that's the dark side. It's like you don't want to inconvenience people so much, you don't even talk to your friend right beside you. That's wonderful. That's a bit of luck. That's wonderful. Yeah, there's a lot of schoolgirls. Good, they should socialize. That's good for you. No, I'm public.
That's it, that's that.
Plus at 3:30, god damn, these kids won't shut up. They don't shut the fuck up.
You won't shut
You
up.
know how I know? I was one of them.
You know what? That's a good question. What do you guys think? You guys think it's good? What Preach saying or what I'm saying? You know, which one would you guys agree with?
Socializing apart.
Okay, gotcha. All this to say, I think these two stories highlight both some of the problems that exist in that society that people, claim is the perfect place, and also some of the upsides to how they decide to manage their society. Some things I thought were really cool.
It enhances.
So I'm drinking this. We bought this. This is my favorite gin. I was drinking, so I'm just like
And bulletproof blanket, wow.
I'm see this and watch my movie. is coming. We're gonna go out a little bit later because the weather is kind of unpredictable. Let me show you. This is a must-have for me. For social life.
I learned a secret Japanese saving strategy that helped me save more money, grow my net worth, and do an extra 3 push-ups. Okay, one of those isn't true, but still. Over the years, I've tried hundreds of budgeting techniques, but none of them helped as much as this. It all started when I traveled through Japan and discovered that Japanese people are strangely really great at saving money. In the 60s, Japan had a savings rate of 28.7%, when the US was only at 17%. And throughout the decades, they've consistently saved more than us. And after chatting with a few locals, I learned their simple Japanese saving technique that anyone can implement into their daily lives. And the best part is, you don't need to know any fancy Excel or use any finance apps. You just need a pen and paper. So the Japanese saving strategy is called Kakeibo, and it's a budgeting system that's translated as household financial ledger. Kakeibo is literally the simplest, but also the most helpful way to achieve your financial goals. Changing financial habits isn't easy to do, partly because our spending habits are ingrained into our daily routine. And the act of spending ties into an emotional aspect that's difficult to detach from. Kakeibo was developed in 1904 for Japanese housewives to help them plan their household finances. For the past 119 years, Kakeibo's framework financially transformed millions of lives. So the way it works is actually quite simple. But the first step is you'll need the actual Kakeibo planner and tracker. You can get it for a few bucks on Amazon or follow along with a pen and notebook. Or you can download my free Kakeibo PDF template here, link down below. Okay, so Kakeibo takes a monthly approach to budgeting. So let's start at the beginning of the month. The first few sections are dedicated to outlining some very basic financial information. First, calculate monthly income. Think about your take-home pay and any other additional streams of income. If you're trash at math like me, just use a calculator to add everything up. Second, calculate your monthly fixed expenses. Fixed expenses are regular bills and costs that you have to pay that stay pretty much the same every single month, no matter what. This includes stuff like rent, mortgage, utility bills, and debt payments. Of course, there are still other essential expenses like groceries, but those are considered variable expenses, meaning they can vary from month to month based on your choices. We won't include these yet. Third, you're going to put down your savings target for that month, and this amount will come from whatever is left over after your fixed expenses. Be realistic with the first few times you use Kakeibo. I know you might want to be super ambitious and set a huge amount from the start, but it's impossible to change spending habits overnight. Instead, just start by slowly committing to this technique, and then it'll be much easier to save more in the future. The last thing you want to do is feel overwhelmed and just give up. Then fourth, and here's where it gets really interesting, you'll calculate how much money is available after you take your fixed expenses and savings target into account. Normally, with most saving strategies out there, you start off with your income, then generally cut out all expenses and save the remainder. But with Kakeibo, your savings aren't an afterthought. They're a before thought, if that's even a word. You plan for them first, then spend the rest. So you move from saving what you haven't spent to spending what you haven't saved. The rest of your income now becomes your total cash available. Fifth, you can get a general idea of how much money you spend each day during that month, and still be able to stick to your saving target by dividing the number of days. Now, before we move on to the sixth step, there are 4 types of expenses that you need to familiarize yourself with.
Kilo Code is a powerful, open-source AI coding assistant that supercharges your development work.
They're super simple, but this categorization plays a very important role later. First are needs. This is stuff that's absolutely 100% necessary, like groceries, car payments, or student loans. Second is wants. This is stuff that's nice to have, but not absolutely 100% necessary, like takeout food or magic lamps. Next is cultural expenses. This is stuff that you can consider cultural participation, such as books, museum fees, movie tickets, except I'd argue that the 97th Fast and Furious movie doesn't count here. And lastly, there's unexpected expenses. These are other expenses that randomly crop up, like unexpected medical bills or home repairs. Okay, so step 6 is when you'll need to track your expenses with a monthly and detailed tracker. And I'll tell you in a little bit why, scientifically speaking, this is crucial. Basically, whenever you make a purchase, you want to write it down and correctly categorize it as a need, a want, cultural, or unexpected expense. Make sure to keep these pages with you throughout the day so you can keep track of everything. In psychology, this benefit is called tactical information association. Basically, writing something on physical paper leads to more brain activity, strengthening your understanding and memory of whatever you wrote down. And this is more important than ever in our new cashless society. With credit card swipes and online payments, the journey between your pockets and the businesses around you is frictionless. But Kakedo's tracking process forces you to give the purchase more thought than you normally would, which helps you slow down, be present, reflect on the motivation behind the purchases, and consider the future impact of your spending. And now, the next time you make another $90 DoorDash splurge, the food can look back at you and say, seriously? And this is a big part of what other budgeting tools are missing. Like if you want to buy any non-essential items or impulse purchases, you really need to ask yourself 5 questions to buy them. 1, can I live without this item? 2, based on my financial situation, can I afford it? 3, will I actually use it? 4, how did I come across it in the first place? Did I see it in a YouTube ad? Did I come across it after wandering into the mall out of boredom? And 5, how do I feel about buying it? Happy, excited, indifferent? And how long will this feeling last? This will help you get better at making faster, smarter, and more logical financial decisions. Now, at the end of each month, add up all your weekly expenses and deduct the amount from your total budget from earlier, and find out the number you actually saved. Then compare it to your savings target and break down how much money you spent on needs, wants, unexpected, and cultural expenses. The more detailed you get, the easier it's going to be to see the whole picture and see exactly where your money is going and coming, which helps you identify even more unexpected expenses. Like when I was reviewing my monthly spending a while back, I noticed that my TV package was getting more and more expensive. I had no idea why. When I initially signed up, I chose to have it automatically renewed. But what I didn't realize is that it automatically renewed at a higher price, which in retrospect I probably should have read the terms and conditions, but who actually reads that? I was now paying, I think, like $25 to $50 more per month. And if I didn't use the Kakebo process, who knows how much more I would have paid. But it's not just about identifying unknown expenses. Kakebo can also help you identify which categories you're spending too much on or too little on. Maybe you saw you're spending too much on streaming services, in which case you want to check out which services you don't actually use, like Peacock, other than watching The Office on it, obviously. I've even heard stories of people who, after using Kakebo, noticed that their gym was charging them unnecessary fees for months, something they didn't catch on when they were using other budgeting systems or just not budgeting at all. But what's likely to be the most important step in Kakebo are the next 4 questions. If you don't spend time asking yourself these at the end of the month, then honestly, none of what you did matters. So at the end of each month, ask yourself, how much money do you have? How much money would you like to save? How much money are you spending, and how can you improve? What separates Kakebo apart is that it isn't just about organizing your finances. It's about decluttering, streamlining, and improving them as well. But trust me, it will not be effective if you just focus on efficiency over this step. This end-of-month reflection keeps you reminded of the progress that you're making towards your saving goals. It also helps you spend better as you reflect on which types of spending enhance your life, which types are unnecessary or harmful, and even more importantly, understand what went wrong and why. But even if you don't meet your savings target for the first few tries, don't be too hard on yourself, because it's important that you feel good about this process. If you focus too much on the negative, you're going to lose motivation and just give up. Budgeting is very similar to exercising. It's significantly easier to slowly start going to the gym for just 10 minutes a day, and then gradually increasing your time each day, rather than committing to 6 hours in the gym on the first day. When you slowly start to integrate new things into your life, they're much more likely to become part of your daily habits. And then you'll keep doing them without even giving it a thought.
There have been so many educational innovations at BYU Pathway recently that I thought it might be helpful to just do a short video explaining how you get a bachelor's degree. In the past, you had to have 120 credits, or about 40 classes, to graduate with a bachelor's degree. You now only need 90 credits, or roughly 30 classes, to graduate. You start your degree with Pathway Connect. Pathway Connect takes 6 months to complete. Then you move on to a
But the truth is, Kakebo wasn't the only thing that made Japanese people one of the best savers in the world. There are 2 more factors that very few people outside of Japan actually know about, and I'll show you how you can incorporate them. In the US, most office workers receive an annual salary, and then maybe a small bonus at the end of the year. However, in Japan, about 1/3 of their total annual income is in the form of bonuses, which are paid out twice a year. In psychology, the benefit of this is called mental accounting. Basically, we mentally sort our funds into separate accounts. which affects the way we think about our spending. Like when you consider everyday purchases in relation to your salary, you never really factor the end of year bonus as normal income. You just consider it as an extra or transitory income. And that's why, even though we know a bonus is coming, we tend to budget for it separately. Like we'll use it to buy a nice magic lamp, or sometimes we'll save it. But in Japan, this extra income is more likely to be saved or invested since it wasn't part of their monthly Keikeibo budget. So the next time you talk about your salary with your boss, try asking them if you can get a larger portion of your salary in the form of a bonus. Next, so after a few weeks in Japan, I finally understood why most people and businesses in Japan prefer cash. And don't worry, I'm not going to tell you to make all your purchases in cash because personally, I love to use credit cards to get their bonuses. Cash is physical and tangible, which allows you to track your spending a lot easier and ultimately be more conscious with your money. But the great thing about Keikeibo is that you can still use credit cards because as long as you record all your purchases, you still get that tangible benefit. Keikeibo is all about forming habits and starting small. You can't save thousands of dollars without first learning the habit to save $5 or $20. And that leads me to something that you've got to start accepting. And it's that sometimes saving techniques like this just won't work for you. And that might be because you haven't first correctly trained your mind to do it yet. Click here to learn how I tricked my mind to love saving money effortlessly so you can finally achieve financial freedom.
How does HR feel with deal? Like hiring, onboarding, managing insights, and more, all on a global scale.
In the Kabukicho district of Shinjuku in Tokyo, one of the most famous entertainment districts in Japan. What was found was a suitcase abandoned on the side of the road. It looks intact. But even after more than an hour from when it was discovered,
ずっと太陽にさらされています。持ち主が現れていません。
Regarding these suitcases, we asked some people who work nearby.
できないですからね。僕はなんか入ってると怖いかもしれない。
In fact, the unauthorized abandonment of suitcases like this is currently a social problem. Narita Airport, also known as the gateway to Japan, is also one of the places having issues. Recovered suitcases are said to be stored in a warehouse at the police station inside the airport. This time, we were given a special look inside.
こちらが拾得物を保管する倉庫になります。
Suitcases are lined up neatly on the shelves. You can see that there are various sizes, from large to small. About 700 suitcases in total were stored here in 2024. As of the end of June this year, the number was about 400, which is an unprecedented increase in pace.
コロナ禍以降、ここ数年で新潟で増えております。海外のお客様が来られる影響で増えているのではないかと思われます。
At Narita International just now,
中身が開いた状態でスーツケースが置かれています。
the suitcase looks like there's a plastic bottle sticking out of it.
周辺には座っている方がいますが、スーツケースの前には誰もいません。
This suitcase was recovered by staff as lost property. It is likely to be stored in the lost and found warehouse. There have been cases of prosecution surrounding such abandonment. This month, a man in his 30s was indicted. The man is suspected of leaving an empty suitcase at Chubu Centraire International Airport in Aichi Prefecture, and he has admitted to the charges. The reason he abandoned it was that the suitcase was oversized. Realizing he couldn't bring it on board, he took everything out and left the empty suitcase behind. So far this year, around 30 cases of illegally dumped suitcases have been found at Chubu Centraire International Airport. What do airport users think about these issues?
I can understand, but I don't know why.
I think probably just because they want to go home and they just like leave their luggage just so they can leave as quickly as possible. But obviously they shouldn't do that.
Furthermore, suitcases are being left behind not only in the Kanto region, but also in the downtown area of Osaka. The situation is even more serious for hotels.
約2ヶ月間ぐらいで今溜まってきてるものをこちらに置かせていただいているというところでございます。
It is said that at checkout, foreign guests leave behind 20 to 30 suitcases per month. The problem is storage space and disposal costs.
1回につき大体5万円ぐらい溜まってからという形になるので、3ヶ月に一度ぐらいのペースで。
As a countermeasure, they are considering starting reuse programs, like lending out the abandoned suitcases free of charge to children studying abroad. Countermeasures are also being taken at Narita International Airport. We spoke to a traveler from Taiwan at this luggage shop in the airport. He says he bought a new suitcase because he broke his old one. Just then, a store employee checked the old suitcase for any remaining belongings and then rolled it to the back of the store.
Yeah, the story help us to solve that old suitcase. Yeah.
This store offers a free collection service for old suitcases.
Very nice. It helps tourists like us. We don't know how to find how to do the old luggage. They're happy. Yeah.
The abandonment of suitcases is becoming a social problem. Various measures are likely to be required.
In Mari City, Saga Prefecture, Japan, late July. The quiet town of just over 50,000 inhabitants.
Hi, welcome to another episode of Cold Fusion.
Next time we say hi to Penguin.
Later.
Penguin. Penguin. You wanna follow your daddy? My baby. Like a kitty baby. Myself. My sweetie boy. My sweetie boy. Nunca kapupuka kana papa. Can I smell? You're dreaming. Kapupuka, can I smell? Can I stink? Baby, come do